All right, my friend Eric, hi Eric, has just planted a nice vegetable garden at his new house, but it doesn't have any irrigation on it, and so we're gonna set up a drip system for his vegetables here, and I'll show you what we do and why. Here is the riser. This is our water source here, and we'll connect to that and we'll run drip lines, and I'll walk you through how and why. All right, here are the materials we're going to use. We've got 1/2-inch poly tube there, and then these are our drip lines. We'll use the 1/4-inch inline emitter drip tubing, and then we've got, to connect to the water source, we've got an elbow and an adapter, and then we'll use 2 shut-off valves for the 1/4-inch pipe, goof plugs at the end, and we've got a T for the 1/2-inch poly tube, and figure 8s to close off that poly tube, some pipe tape to connect the elbow to the water source, and then some stakes to keep down this 1/4-inch tubing. All right, let's set it up. So we got the connector onto the water source, and then we've got this tube coming down here, and we're gonna tee it off so we can run a drip line here and a drip line here and more over there. And it can be a little hard to connect the tube to these barb fittings or compression fittings, and you can dip them in hot water or even soften them up in a hot sun or with a lighter. Otherwise, you have to work a little hard to get them pressed on. And then at the end you're gonna either want to use a figure 8 to close it off, or there are other fittings to close off, but I like figure 8s myself, so just put it on like that, bend it, and sink it in. So we've got that side done, and then we'll work on the other side. Okay, so the second dripper line we have here, and I put the shut-off valve on. I pushed it in, and you can, in order to punch it into the 1/2-inch poly tube, you can use these cheap little punchers, but you can also buy one of these. They're a little bit more expensive. They might be $10, but they're totally worth it because it's so easy to punch the holes. So I'm just gonna punch a hole right here, and then pop this little valve in with our second line, and that's that. And then one other thing I wanted to show was that laying your dripper line out in the sun before you try to get it down in place helps, because it'll make it supple and help get the kinks out. So lay it out in the sun for a little while if you can before you try to stake it in place. Okay, so the system's all laid out, and now we're just running it to see how it looks. Looks like it's dripping fine all the way down the line, all the way to the end there, and all the way down the line on this one. And then what we did later on, Eric might plant some more vegetables along here, and so we'll run a 3rd line all the way from there. But for the moment, there are only plants on this back end. So with this second line, we just did a U-turn over here and brought it back here. With these small 1/4-inch lines, you don't want them to run very long, or the pressure gets really low towards the end. You don't want to go much more than 20 feet, but this will work for now. One last note is that before you turn the system on, after you've been setting it up and working on it, it's a good idea to open the poly tube and then turn the water on and let any dirt come out of that before you try to run the little drip lines. because inevitably some dirt and other gunk gets in there. So go ahead and flush the line before you actually turn it on. There we go. The garden now has a drip system on it. Got the water source and the drip lines, and the vegetables are being watered.